One thing to remember too about the games, both the first one and this one, which is a continuation of the first one, it's a sequel. A lot of people seem to be misunderstanding that this is supposed to be like a game version of the original Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass books. That's not true. American McGee wanted to continue the story, so the original game takes place about a year after the end of the last book, and then this game takes place 10 years later. But, so, people should not be comparing, like, wow, this should be like how it was in the Alice in Wonderland books. No, it shouldn't be. The Illustrated News feeds an insatiable appetite for domestic mayhem and industrial disaster. Fire at a match factory. 6 girls missing. Is there anything more predictable? The world's gone quite mad. Yeah, and one other thing that I want to point out after the kids talk here.
10 years in the loony bin. No, Ma, no relation. She's an orphan.
So here, rather than home safe home, we have earn your keep. Because obviously Alice is also doing things like the laundry and stuff like that here.
Mr. Payne had no idea how humble a home could be. If not for my drawings and the photographs, this could pass for my room at the asylum.
And you can see this is her room with her drawings of Wonderland on the wall. And here's her photograph that she's talking about. Oh, this is her family. So this photograph of my family was delivered here by post. No message, no return address. I'm grateful for this memento, but I wish I could thank the sender. And we don't know who sent it. An interesting point too here. Notice the photograph. Alice is the little girl, of course, with the rabbit. Now, I've seen some comments out there. People are claiming Alice's sister Elizabeth is her younger sister. No. She's not. Her sister is much older. Her sister is a young woman. And this is even said in one of the memories you can collect, I believe, where it says, Alice loved her sister and her sister loved her, but, her sister was too old to be a playmate. And I think we'll collect that in the first chapter. But anyway, I don't know why people are thinking that for some reason Lizzie is younger than Alice. No, she's not. And I don't recall if I said this, but I've already played the PS3 version through all the way twice, and I'm almost done with the third playthrough. So yeah, I know the game pretty well now. Just why I can fill in all these details.
Doctor's pet. Too good for the asylum. Mad as a hatter without the charm. Killed her family. Who'd want her?
Nice kids. And then there's this picture. This likeness captures the doctor's confidence. His dress is fastidious, his bearing calm. Just shy of classically handsome, he likely instructed the artist how to render his nose. And you have to remember, this is like before actual real film. Photography was a very new type of thing. And actually, Charles Dodson, Lewis Carroll, his real name is Charles Dodson, he actually was an amateur photographer. So, that's probably one reason we have this. If we go back in here, notice again, even in this picture, the children standing around the doctor are all wearing plaques with numbers on them. Which is kind of interesting.
Another day, a different dream, perhaps.
Oh, this digging's killing me back. They call work noble, bastards. Can't come this way, love. Go round. Nice so thick you could build a flat on it.
I might use the underground one day if they ever complete the construction. Of course, that's what the subway is. It's called an underground in England. So, Houndsditch Home for Wayward Youth. Dr. Angus Bumby, proprietor. And of course, women back in Victorian England wore corsets. You have some other manners here. I wanted to point out too, the kids. One of the kids' comment was that Alice is mad as a hatter, and of course we have that common saying now. The fact is, like that, the Hatter in Alice in Wonderland is mad. Or he's supposed to be mad, but he's not mad just at random. Hatters actually did become mad back at that time. Hat makers would get lead poisoning because they'd use lead for, I believe it was for part of the trim, and when they sealed the cloth, oftentimes they would lick the cloth with their mouth or lick the glue or whatever, something like that. Anyway, you can look into it, but they would eventually get lead poisoning because of coming in contact with the lead so much. Same thing happened with geisha in Japan. Because the white paint that they used to use, that was the foundation for their makeup, was originally lead-based. And they didn't know the dangers,
You like Paganini, Missy? How about Paganini?
Kitty cat. You can see this is the Whitechapel Market. Whitechapel is in the East End, which we hear a comment about later, but this is not like the best area of London. It's actually where Jack the Ripper committed his crimes.
Wears her black. Too good for company. She don't get close. Hates being touched. Who likes it then? Never slap. Spite, more like.
So we know Alice doesn't like being close to people and doesn't like being touched. At least that's what the kids say.
The Sandman's coming in his train of cars, with moonbeam windows and the wheels of stars. So hush, you little ones, and have no fear. The man in the moon, he is the engineer.
You have to remember this is before cars and all that fun jazz. So, kids, if you watch the movie Newsies, actually from Disney, about the newsboys that turn into the 20th century, New York City, the historians who wrote the screenplay for that and the documentaries that come on the DVD for that, they talk about how, back before cars, the streets were kind of the kids' playground that they made do. And there were plenty of orphans.
Hang off, Missy. Move along.
So he kind of takes up the whole alley there. And you can kind of see the different shops.
Outrageous is a strong word, Jake. A shilling over the odds, maybe.
You must be bleeding joking, mate. I can't afford to put cheese on the table anymore. Sometimes I wonder where my next cheese is coming from. I'm sick of her indoors going on about it.
What, cheese cheddar?
Especially the bleeding cheddar. I see it there, yellow and creamy with that slight nutty aftertaste. I want it, but it's always just a little bit beyond my grasp.
Steady on, mate. Only cheese.
I don't know if you're able to hear all of that, but the guy's talking about how he can't even afford to put cheese on his table anymore. And again, you look at those websites and look at the economic conditions. The idea that the Industrial Revolution, granted equality and the growth of capitalism as well. That it granted equality and raised the standard of living is not exactly accurate. And in fact, it wasn't until the turn of the 19th century, around 1900 or so, that the average craftsman or artisan was able to go back to a state they had about the 15th century as far as the amount of bread that they could buy and the wages that they could earn.
Hello, Puss. Puss, 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 puss. Don't be afraid.
So I'm not thinking the cat's afraid. You'd think actually that Alice would like give up on this idea of chasing down furry creatures. It usually doesn't work out well for her. But another thing, I guess I can't stress this enough, but I see a lot of people mistaking the idea that Wonderland is a place outside, or that Alice like goes to Wonderland.
That'll teach him. Beat him good. Move along, Alice. I can run you in just for being off your nut.
Yes, of course the police are so caring, especially down in this particular neck of the town. But the fact is, Wonderland, in order to understand the original books as well as the games, you have to remember that Wonderland is Alice. So when you are in Wonderland, you are exploring Alice's heart and mind. This is actually her, inside her, or her true persona, you might say, her spirit, her heart, her mind. So if it's beautiful, that's fine. If it's looking nasty or something like that, that's also her. But you might ask why.
Now, where has that cat gone?
Oh, dead end alley. Yeah. There you go. Medical Times Gazette. out of doors? That's it. Tonic from Paris. A man's ear. Okay. Moth ointment. Yeah, if you even in America, you look back at the turn of the 20th century, medical practices weren't quite what they are today. So no, I'm not going to just be rushing through the game.
No change in nappies. Better than being a dog's body for orphans. You can make someone happy. Save the world, 10 minutes at a time.
And yeah, that's the kind of offer that you think it probably is. And yes.
You look like a discerning gent.
Alright, fuck you then. You can't fucking afford it anyway.
Again, check out some of those websites and you'll learn that their prostitution was certainly not uncommon during Victorian era England.
Seems following furry creatures into dark holes has become a habit. I hope it's not a vice.
I should probably say that I'm playing this with headphones and inexpensive Logitech headphones and a mic. I can't monitor what I'm saying on the mic until after I do the recording and everything. But if things sound kind of weird, that's probably just because of that. Also, I may be hearing things more clearly than you are if you're listening on speakers. Not your normal London resident.
The stars and